We have made it to Friday, everyone. Welcome in.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome in another First Alert weather day. But Studio 10 is going to get us ready for the weekend, get us pumped up.
That's right.
All right, what's going on, Rochelle?
Yes, we really are. We're going to do that, and we're going to start by going live at the Lansing Shuffle. So there's so many great things there, so many great foods, drinks, everything. It's literally the place to really kick off your summer. So Nicole's going to be exploring all the different restaurants and all the different things we can do. Plus, I hear there's a promo code that will get your first drink a few dollars off.
Woohoo!
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but you got to
Deals.
listen in. You got to listen in at 3 p.m. to hear all for it. But we're going to be going live there, and again, just showing off the really great ways that you can spend your summer out there. But inside here, we're going to be cooling down with quite a romance novel, actually.
Okay.
We have an Ask the Author segment. So Lauren Todd, who's also a Michigan native, she's going to be joining us. And she has a really, really great romance book that she's going to talk to us about. But something that's really interesting and I like about it is that she talks openly about how the main character has OCD. And so she talks about that illness and how she navigates that in a really great way. So she'll tell us more about what inspired the book and why you need to have it on your summer reading list.
Yeah, I'm going to add that to mine, actually.
I know. We always get so many books, and sometimes the authors will leave them, and I'm like, okay, this is one. All of them. But I'm like, I can't wait to start reading into this one and diving into that.
That'll be good. Okay.
Yes.
Summer bucket list for your books.
Quite a bucket list.
Yeah.
And speaking of, after that, quite a few things going on this weekend. Like you even mentioned earlier today, so many different festivals that you want to make sure you stay hydrated for. But of course, Sarah Pierce from 517 Living is giving us a few other events that you'll want to head to this weekend if you have time, because there's so many. If somehow you can put them in Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Plan it out.
If there's a will, there's a way.
It's true.
So probably get to that. And another thing as well, on a more somber note that we remember the tragedy that happened in Wacusta. So actually a few months back, we had charred sauces and seasonings. They have a really great like topping and condiment business outside of in Capital City Meyer Market. Yeah. And the person who actually created their logo and graphic design for them was one of the people that was in the Wacusta tragedy. So today we're going to talk about a fundraiser that we can use to support them and help them out and really kind of pick up the pieces from what happened. So definitely a lot of things to look out for today. Definitely a lot of things that you want to take note of and go back out to support, whether that's the local author, whether that is for the fundraiser, whether it's going to the Lansing Shuffle, because like we saw yesterday, it's the first day of summer. Things are only heating up from here.
Yes, it is.
But in case you miss anything, because there is just so much to cover and you need a recap, don't worry, head to WILX Studio 10 on all of our social media. You'll find that plus so much more. Subscribe, because we've got a lot of giveaways in store. I hate to spoil it, but Monday, Eaton County Fair. We've got some giveaways for you guys, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that.
Yes, and the Eaton County Fair is coming up July 8th through the 13th. Rochelle, we are pumped up for it.
Yes, we are. Taylor's already got it on her calendar. Date, time, everything. You got the address?
I'm going to look it up. Yeah, well, tune into Studio 10 at 3 o'clock. There you go. Thank you, Rochelle. We'll see you at 3 o'clock, which is in just over 50 minutes here. But Rochelle was mentioning all of the fun stuff going on this weekend, and one of those is a Lansing festival happening in Old Town Lansing tomorrow, Saturday, 1 until 10 p.m. So go check it out. I know it's going to be hot and humid, and the First Alert weather day extends into tomorrow, Saturday, and of course, monitoring the heat wave and the duration of it. So it's not just the high temperatures, but the duration of the high temperatures, right? Instead of getting it one or a couple days this week, we had First Alert weather days Monday all the way up until tomorrow. So this is why we're talking about it, because it is just extending so long. But instead of hearing all of that from me, we're actually going to bring in Cole Engle, our weather intern, to talk about all of this. So Cole, welcome back.
How we doing?
We're doing pretty good, but there's storms to look out for on top of the heat and humidity that we're already getting.
Yeah, I know. Crazy day here yesterday. Just pop-up storms out of nowhere. I know places around Holt got definitely the worst of it. Yeah. And even today, there's a chance that might not happen again, but we could have some pretty strong thunderstorms that could pop up, out of nowhere, just like yesterday. So that's definitely something keeping in mind for today. Yeah. But another thing we want to keep in mind is the heat and humidity. We got the First Alert day that's happening for today and tomorrow. And you can see for the First Alert weather day, highs are going to be near 90 degrees and those lows are going to be near 70. So we don't even get a lot of relief in the overnight hours.
We do not.
And the heat index values are going to be in the mid-90s and then even near 100 by tomorrow, because we're going to get more clearing. So it's going to be just not feeling really good tomorrow.
No, so even though, you know, the storms are getting rid of some of that moisture from the clouds, there's still a lot of moisture up there. Oh, goodness,
yeah,
okay.
It's gonna feel pretty humid, but like I said, another thing we want to keep in mind is we got marginal risk in our area for severe weather, and that's a level 1 out of 5, so it's not a pretty big level, but you know, it's something we want to keep in mind. It's kind of the same area where we were yesterday. Biggest threats at this time for if we do get any pop-up thunderstorms is that large hail, high winds and flooding is all possible. You know, we saw areas, I think Holt got over an inch of rain in just like a few hours or so from that quick storm that went through. But I do think that the tornado risk is going to stay pretty low for today. So that's something we shouldn't have to worry about. But looking at the US 127 Skycam, which is brought to you by the Meridian Company Skycam Network, we got some sun finally coming out there. I know it's been kind of cloudy today. But
yeah, it's been a little gloomy.
Yeah, it's a little hazy out there still. I think that's what a lot of places I've been seeing. But yeah, we finally got some of that sun breaking through. But like I said, those pop-up thunderstorms could come up at any time today. And looking at satellite and radar, not a whole lot going on. You can see down there by the, looks like the Ann Arbor area. You can kind of see it right here. Got some action going on there. Looks like a few thunderstorms. And even up there in the Mount Pleasant to Midland area, it looks like we got something going on. And then taking a closer look to home, you can see here over in Eaton County, we got a couple of those pop-up rain showers. And now this is one of those things where like one of these rain showers could turn into one of those strong thunderstorms. So this is something that we're going to be looking into very closely. But we're going to take it hour by hour here going on into later tonight. You can see as we go into this evening, the showers and thunderstorms start to move off to the east. So if you do have any plans this evening, you should be pretty good. However, that heat and humidity is going to remain high going into the evening hours and even overnight. You can see as we go into the overnight hours, mid-70s still, so not really a good night to keep those windows open because it's just so humid and it's going to stay so warm out there. And Saturday it's going to be pretty similar today, except we're going to get even warmer. You can see as we get later into the evening hours on Saturday. We got chances of rain way up into the north, but I don't think that's going to affect us. High temperatures going to be near 90 degrees here tomorrow, so definitely a very hot, humid day we're looking at.
Yeah, and so those events that are happening this weekend, like the Lansing Pride Festival happening tomorrow, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Yes, thank you, Cole.
100%. Bring lots of water to that. Yeah, because like I said, it's going to be super hot and humid. But the good thing is, I do think this is going to be the last day, temporarily, that we'll see this very hot and humid weather. Because eventually, as we go on later on to the day on Saturday, we got this line of rain and thunderstorms, which is associated with a cold front. It's going to finally knock our temperatures down. And we're going to go later here into Sunday morning. We're going to start off cloudy. You might even have a chance of a rain shower early Sunday morning. But notice the temperatures in the low 70s. It's going to feel so much better. It might even be a little humid at this time, but I do expect later in the day the humidity to drop, and then look, it does clear out pretty quickly after that on Sunday.
It'll be nice Sunday evening,
Yeah, so definitely out of the 2 days, I think Sunday's gonna be better. But to get an idea of how much rainfall we're expecting, don't focus on the exact amounts, but notice how like this is for like Saturday. More of the northern communities are gonna have a better chance to see the higher rain totals. Now, we could get some areas too that see like, you know, like I said, maybe like an inch of rain today if we do get those pop-up thunderstorms, and if they're slow movers and stuff, it might drop a lot of rain in a short amount of time. But generally, for the most part, I do think that going into this weekend, that areas in our northern part of the area is going to see the most amount of rain.
So is this the rain accumulation from what we're seeing from yesterday, today, and from the storms that's coming Saturday night into Sunday?
Oh yeah, this is going from now all the way into Sunday evening.
Okay.
But again, the bulk of this rain is going to come Saturday night. I do think those thunderstorms, when that cold front comes in, will come around midnight on Saturday. Well, Sunday morning technically. But yeah, that's what we're going to mainly look at. But looking at the 10-day temperature trend, again, once that cold front does come through, it knocks temperatures down big time. I only think we're going to hit 80 degrees. Might not even touch that in some areas on Sunday. But you do notice by Tuesday, we do warm things up, and we have another chance of some strong thunderstorms going into Tuesday evening. But then next week, it's looking pretty good after that temperature-wise. Look, it's 76 degrees as a high on Thursday.
That's a lot more bearable.
I know, right? It's not something we've seen a lot lately. So it's definitely going to be a big change. And then even next weekend, I think we're just going to hit the mid-80s. No more of the low 90s. I don't think
too much.
Anytime soon. Yeah. So, but yeah, going into the muggy meter too. again, that humidity is going to remain. I do think that we'll get a little bit of a break on Sunday, but then once those warmer temperatures do arrive back on Monday and Tuesday, I think it will start to feel a little humid again. But then once we get those showers and storms coming on Tuesday night, I do think we're going to finally get a big break from the humidity going to the Wednesday and then a few days after that. So finally, we'll be able to go outside and breathe, because I don't know about you, but it's just been unbearable.
It's been like a weighted heat blanket. You don't like that when it's 90.
Yeah, no, it just, it's horrible. And if you don't have air conditioning, it just makes it that much worse. But yeah, that's something we're going to be looking at for the next few days. But then looking at the weekend forecast, of course, Saturday, looking like it's going to be the warmest day, 91 degrees as a high. And again, those chance of thunderstorms coming in later on in the day. Not impossible that we see something going on in the afternoon too, but I do think the best chances are going to be after dark on Saturday. And then Sunday, 84 degrees with a light chance of, or a chance of rain showers. Actually, I think that might be a little too high. I think we're only going to hit 80.
All right. So Sunday, not as warm as it's saying on the graphic there.
Right, yeah. Okay. I do think we're only going to touch 80 on that day. And then, like, those rain chances should be in the morning, and I think it should turn out to be a pretty excellent day later on into Sunday. But yeah, and then looking into the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, not the best news.
No.
You can notice we have a little bit higher chance of seeing warmer than average temperatures. Definitely nothing as high as what we've seen this last week, but still something to keep in mind as we go into the end of June here, that we could see temperatures still warmer than average, which average temperature, I believe, this time of year is in the low 80s, so still something a little bit warmer than that.
So we'll feel much better, and it will give you some sort of relief compared to this week, but overall still high temperatures.
It'll feel a lot better than this week. I think anything would feel better than this week. It's been just unreal. But yeah, if you look at the 10-day forecast, we got that the warmest day is definitely going to be on Saturday. Then we got that cold front coming through on Saturday night, drops things to the 80 degrees on Sunday. And then it should be a pretty nice week. I mean, we got a lot of sunshine in the forecast, and then that chance of thunderstorms going into Tuesday night, the high temperature of 87. And then, it just really drops after that. High temperature of 76 is looking likely on Thursday. But then we do rebound a little bit, like I said, with those warmer than average temperatures next weekend. But I don't think it's going to be as humid, and it's definitely not going to be as hot as it's been this past week. So,
well, not a bad forecast at all for that part of June. I guess, that's heading into the end of June right there.
Isn't that crazy how we're already at the end of June? I can't get over it.
We've said that for every month so far this year, at the end of January, February, March, April, and obviously May that we, just had. Colton was up here and he's like, I'm going to say it, I can't believe. I was like, I know, and now you're here saying, can't believe June's almost done.
I'm going to continue it because it's crazy. I don't understand how it's already done.
I'm sure a lot of people can agree. This whole year has just been flying.
Crazy stuff. But very summer-like pattern we're in right now, which is normal because it's summer.
That is true. Well, I know we had some concerns over some crops, some flowers. Any concerns with that?
I don't believe so at this. I mean, it is going to dry out, but I do think that, we had the chances of rain showers, especially going into Saturday. I do think everyone's going to get a good chance to see rain showers and thunderstorms going into Saturday night, and then even into Tuesday. So I do think that we're going to see some rain, hopefully stay out of the drought category going into next week.
All right, well, that's good. So the rain is helping out with the crops in terms of giving them the water and the hydration that they need, even though it's super hot. If people want to cool off, I know we have the rain chances, but since it's overnight, will they be okay going Saturday and Sunday during the day to dip in the pool, go to a lake, anything?
Absolutely, yeah. I highly recommend if you get a chance to go out to the big lake this weekend or something. It'd be pretty nice for it. I think water temperatures right now are in the mid-60s.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't terrible.
No.
But when you get heat like this, it's not too bad to take a nice dip in the cold lake. So, yeah, definitely something that you want to keep in mind this weekend. If you don't have any plans, maybe take a trip out there.
All right, well, that's a good idea. Thank you, Cole, for sharing all of that. Anything else you want to mention while you're up here?
I think that's pretty much it.
Or you feel like you're learning a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I've been having a lot of fun. This has been great.
That's good. And you've been great at also getting the hands-on experience and putting yourself in that position. So great job to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, you can always check in. We're going to let Cole get back to work here. But you will see Colton Sikoracki in place for, excuse me. I choked on myself. For Andy Provenzano coming up for Studio 10, for Step 4 in our 90 minutes of news. It is Andy's birthday, so happy birthday, Andy. I know you're enjoying that wherever you are right now. And so just keep an eye on the forecast here. I'm going to show you this. Let me get the mouse working real quick. It's wanting to snooze. Oh, and you know what? I think what is it called? The mouse is already on weekend break. So we're just going to leave that to be. But this is where you can find more information into the First Alert forecast. Go to our website, wilx.com, and you can get a lot more detailed description on what's going on. Or what you can do too is download the First Alert weather app completely free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. So go check that out as well. But I'll show you the 10-day forecast one more time. If you're planning out your weekend plans, that is where you can, of course, see what's going on across the area. So we're just taking a little look into that. But I'm going to show you a live look over Jackson right now because, like Cole was mentioning, we have more of that sun making an appearance today. We started off under the clouds. It looked like thin, gloomy clouds, but now we're seeing the blue sky, some of that sun, and those clouds are kind of breaking up right now. But again, make sure you're checking into your First Alert forecast with those showers that could be coming in later today. Other than that, I've got Erin Bowling here with her sunnies on. Hello.
Yes, oh my gosh, it is so hot out there. I was running around with the camera, dripping in sweat. Stay hydrated today, stay cool. I know I had to keep going back into the car and like turning on the AC just to cool off. So yeah. Very hot outside, but today we are talking about Rite Aid. So I was over at 2 different locations, but mainly the location on West Mount Hope Avenue in Lansing. They actually had a sign on their door that said all of the Michigan Rite Aids will be closing. And so they're no longer accepting can and bottle returns at that location. That's what the sign was for. But you know that Rite Aid's been there for a long time, and you know Rite Aids all across Michigan have been here for a long time. So we.
Why are they leaving?
That's a good question. Yes,
okay.
I called them. I called their press line. Have yet to hear back. Their employees said they were not allowed to talk to me. So I couldn't hear anything from them. But you know, a lot of people in the community came up to me, wanted to talk about the store closing because, of course, they saw the sign as they were going in, and were, you know, talking about how they had a grocery store, you know, recently closed down in the area. They said the nearest pharmacy after the Rite Aid is kind of far away, at least, you know, comparatively, because a lot of people are walking around in that area. But yeah, some people said they've been going there for 20, 40 years, getting their prescriptions, getting some of their groceries, some of their essential items. So they were pretty bummed. There was a couple people who told me one of the employees there has been working there for like 20 years. And so said they're going to be really sad to see her, or to see the store, you know, close. I don't know if she's leaving the area, but you know, they're just kind of bummed, you know, to see one of their favorite, you know, I guess businesses in the area close their doors.
Yeah, especially when it's right there. It's convenient because of its location, and it's like a one-stop shop. You have the pharmacy, the bottle returns. Yeah. If you don't have a grocery store, photo. You get your food. Whatever else you need, beauty, gift cards, little birthday
holiday cards. Yeah, they got hats in there, little stuffed animals. They got all kinds of stuff at Rite Aid, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to hear back from their press people soon. But otherwise, we'll be hearing from, you know, folks in the community about the Rite Aid closing on News 10 at 6.
All right. Yeah, I want to hear why it's closed. So we'll keep going.
I heard some rumors, or I guess some millings online from other news stations. They had, I don't know if this is the reason why, but you know, Rite Aid had kind of recently filed for bankruptcy with the opioid settlement and all of that stuff going on. So I don't know if that plays into it. It's what I've seen on some other news stations. But yeah, pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
All Rite Aids in Michigan closing their doors, according to the sign on the location on West Mount Hope Avenue in Lansing. So
we'll get that community reaction from Erin. News 10 at 6, you said?
Yes.
All right.
6 o'clock.
Hear more.
Yes.
We'll get a fan on you or something.
I need to get some water.
Woo! Hydrate, get some food.
Yep.
There we go. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, thank you, Erin.
Yes.
We're going to share what else we have coming up today. And then we'll bring Riley Connell over here because she was assessing some storm damage earlier this morning on News 10 Today at 11 in Holt. Of course, you probably heard all of the downpours yesterday afternoon. And we had Andy Provenzano and Colton Sikoracki both up here to share everything going on. It was severe thunderstorms were passing through the area. And even Colton, or Andy, went outside and gave Colton a piece of hail. And so, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of damage and just, you know, recaps. that Riley was giving. She did an incredible job on News 10 Today at 11, so we'll get to her in just a little bit to talk furthermore on all of that. But we were talking about the heat and humidity and going outside this weekend and experiencing everything in the 517 area. So it's important that you are staying hydrated because Cole did he did a piece on heat stroke and heat exhaustion, and he explained the difference between the two. And he also shared how to prevent that from happening. So one of those, hydrating, water, right? We are 70% water, so you got to make sure that you're replenishing yourself of what you're made of. So we're going to be speaking with a registered dietitian today from U of M Health Sparrow on the importance of hydration, what happens when you're dehydrated, and then different foods that can keep you hydrated as well, not just water or electrolyte liquids, things like that. So we'll have more on that coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters on First at 4 today. Coming up, News 10 at 5, the suspect in the shooting on MacDougall Circle that kills a 35-year-old man has been arrested. The shooting happened at the 4000 block of MacDougall Circle just after 10 p.m. last Saturday. And we have more on that suspect and how he was captured, all coming up News 10 at 5. And then coming up News 10 at 5:30, according to the Atlanta-based CDC, more than 1,000 people die from heat-related illnesses each year, which is why it's important to stay hydrated and give yourself a break from the sun and heat. Researchers at Georgia Tech and Emory University are working to curtail that with a new heat protection device. We'll have more on what this device does on News 10 at 5:30, making sure you're staying safe. Coming up, News 10 at 6, State Representative Neil Frisky has been released from police custody after spending a little more than 24 hours lodged in the Lansing City Jail for an alleged sexual assault. We're going to have the very latest on Representative Frisky coming up News 10 at 6. And then what else is coming up during our 90 minutes of news today? We have Riley Connell standing by to share. Hello.
Hello. Well, I heard Aaron talking about getting a little bit of that humidity out there, so yeah, we experienced a lot of that today. Yeah, so we were outside for a couple of hours taking a look at some of the storm damage out there, and it's pretty interesting. You can drive around some of the neighborhoods out in Holt and in Mason, and some of them are completely clear of damage, and then you'll land on a block that just looks like this. Actually, this is in Delhi Township. One block in particular on Wilcox Road out there had a lot of damage. This was a completely uprooted tree in somebody's backyard. You can see just to the right, that is a trampoline that flew about 3 yards over into that backyard. This is multiple trees down on one home. It was just an endless stream of line crews and tree trimming services, just kind of like a line of cars coming down the street. You can see some of them parked right there in that footage. Just kind of constantly coming through and going door to door, checking on neighbors, checking on downed lines, tree companies offering quotes for folks in the neighborhood, trying to, get out there and help them remove some of this damage as quickly as they could. So this was one particular area that was hit pretty hard and was also still suffering through some power outages too. You can see on the Consumers outage map, we don't have it here now, but I checked just before coming up here. There are still some outages in that neighborhood and a few others south Cedar Street heading down into that Holt and Mason area. So that was a lot of damage to check out there. We did also have some damage out at El Dorado Golf Course too, which is where we were at for News 10 Today at 11. They had actually cleaned everything up before noon, so we don't have a ton of damage footage from them. We only just kind of caught the tail end of them putting that brush to the side, and they'd already had a golf outing out on the course, so they were pretty much back to normal. By the time we had gotten there, the power had just come back on, thankfully. But yeah, that tree, I mean, I just keep looking at that uprooted tree. It's wild. It's got to make a terrifying sound.
Well, because it's not only just a tree. I don't want to say just a tree, but that is a massive tree.
Very, very large tree. It's even larger in person. And that whole pit is kind of filled with water.
I feel like the roots, when it's down on its side like that, like that's got to be taller than you and I.
Yeah, most definitely. That was one of the more severe pieces of damage that we saw, of a whole tree being completely uprooted. Some of the neighbors that I spoke with, had gardens destroyed. People had other trees uprooted. People had just cleaned their pool and then had their pool covered in debris again, had to re-clean their pool. So there was a lot of that going on out there today. And on top of it, everybody having to get out and kind of start this work on a really muggy day, just a really hot day. Some of them didn't have air conditioning. A few people were lucky enough to have generators already, so they were kind of getting through it with at least a little bit of air in their house. But I just couldn't imagine You know, waking up in the morning, hot and muggy, no power, you're out on your front lawn and you've got uprooted branches and trees all over. So there were a lot of neighbors helping each other out too. Some people who were, you know, taking a chainsaw over to this neighbor and helping them start to cut some of their trees up.
Well, some of the trees too went through the roof. Yeah, that's
down
scary.
On fences. There were a lot of broken fences too. And we didn't quite have a ton of footage from the Mason area, but I know there is damage out that way too. We have some folks even at the station who live in that neighborhood who woke up to some pretty severe damage too at their own homes. So it was, oh yeah, we'll take a look at the Mason Skycam right now.
I mean, luckily over here though, you're not seeing any damage.
No, it looks completely untouched, which was kind of the interesting part for us too when our crews were out there. It was a couple of blocks completely clear, you know, not a scratch, especially that downtown Holt area was pretty clear. Not too much debris, but then you would just hit some of these side streets, some of these residential areas, and it would really look like, I think one neighbor said it seemed like almost a mini tornado came through and just hit their block, which obviously there were no tornadoes touching down in Holt and Mason. You surely would have known about that by now, but yeah, it seemed like kind of a burst of energy from these storms is what they said. So coming up on News 10 at 5 and at 6, you can hear a little bit about that damage. You'll get the footnotes at 5 o'clock, and then a little bit more in depth of what some neighbors and some tree companies have been dealing with coming up on News 10 at 6. So there's your opportunity to stay through that whole 90.
It is a very busy cleanup Friday, so yes, we will hear more on all their cleanup efforts coming up News 10 at 5 and 6, like Riley was talking about. We'll let you get back to work too, because I know you're busy. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Riley.
Yeah.
And then what else we have going on today? I'm just going to take another live look over I'll go to US 127 in just a second. Let's take one over Mason again, because that was where Riley was saying some of that storm damage is. So we're just going to take another live look at that. And then we can head over to US 127 just to give you a live look over there too, different parts of our mid-Michigan area. So you're taking a live look over there too. If you plan on hitting the roads this weekend, just know we have some of those storm chances coming in this evening, like Darren Rockwell was talking about on News 10 today at 11. And then again at Colton Sykaraki, we'll have more coming up during Studio 10 at 3 o'clock in just under half an hour here, followed by First at 4. And Colton will also be in for our 90 minutes of news because Andy is on his little birthday week. So we're going to let Andy celebrate. He's putting in a lot of work. You will have Darren Rockwell and Colton Sykaraki coming up for quite a little while of a stretch here. So just make sure you're tuning in. You can always download the First Alert Forecast or First Alert Weather app, where you can get your First Alert Forecast for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. And you can also do the Follow Me feature. So usually we have a graphic. We don't have it right now. But you can click on the top blue bar when you get onto the app, click hourly, click on the location, and you can either do the Follow Me feature, which gets your current location, or you can click on any other location, type it in there. Say you're in Lansing, you're going to Jackson later today. Type in Jackson. You can see what the forecast will look like when you get there later in your day for all of your little events. Or if you want to see any traffic alert updates as well, you can do that, and you'll be notified. And you can also go into settings, change around the notifications to specify it toward you. So that way, if you're not in Jackson and you're all the way in Holt, let's say, maybe you don't want the notifications in Jackson, or maybe you do so that you can track the storm. It's all your preference. You do what you feel with the app, but it's a great tool to have downloaded on your phone for those First Alert Forecast updates. Again, you get it straight from our meteorologists. They do such a great job, so just make sure you're doing that. Other than that, you heard what's coming up on Studio 10, First at 4, 90 minutes of news and into your forecast. So just make sure you're tuning in throughout the rest of the day here on News 10, both on air and online, as we continue to provide you with all of those updates heading into your weekend. Until then, today is the first full day of summer. Yesterday around 4:51 p.m. was the beginning of the summer solstice. So today, first full day of summer, and tonight is a great night to best view that full moon, which is the strawberry moon. Other than that, you can catch more details coming up today on News 10. Thank you for joining us on this Friday, and have a great rest of your day.